What is going on, everybody? Ryan Leary, William Tincup. Welcome. You are listening to The Barf. It is a look back at the week that was so you can be prepared for the week that is. I see you waving. William, how are you?
It is a wonderful Sunday. My
Yeah.
son has graduated high school and he's moved the tassel and the whole bit, and very exciting. So I have
Congratulations.
one high school graduate.
That officially makes you
Yes,
old.
I know, 100%.
Yeah.
But I
And
feel
he's
good
going to
about it,
be in
though.
college soon. So that's even older.
Well, someone said, well, you worried about them moving back in with you, and because he's signed up with the Army,
9 years gone.
he's got Army ROT scholarship, right? And and then he goes in after he does Corps Cadets at A&M. After he does that, he does minimum, does 4 years with the Army. So we got at least 8 years.
Oh, you still have Van.
Yeah, we still have Van for 4 years. Yeah, and Van could live with us for 32 years, so it could all could be nothing. Yeah, but
Yeah.
he's yeah, it's nice to have a graduate. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's on.
yeah. I don't know what that feels like. I got a couple years for that. But I
Hmm.
noticed two things about you today.
Yes, do tell.
The SpongeBob shirt looks fantastic on you.
Oh, thank you. I like
It looks
SpongeBob.
good. I can never do a sponge. I just can't do that color. That color doesn't look
Well,
good
a
on me.
lot of parents don't like it. I remember early on when I would wear it to my soccer games and stuff, and parents would look at me like, "We don't let our children watch SpongeBob." I'm like, "Well,
That's your
you
fault.
sucks to be you.
Yeah.
I watch it for myself. They watch it because they have no idea
Hmm.
what's going on." But anyhow, yeah.
And
Oh
you
wait,
shaved.
I did every once in a while. It doesn't happen often,
Although you
but
told me the other day you didn't shave. You still have stubble.
oh yeah, yeah. I don't. They don't have a razor. They can't. I mean, you can go at some places. They could have a straight razor. They could actually
Hmm.
shave, but they have to have a specific license for it in Texas.
Oh.
But this is just they take just their trimmers and they go as far down as they can, and it'll grow out about another 2 or 3 weeks. Uh, I like to do it just to actually see my face because I usually have a beard or thick beard for a while,
Yeah.
like years.
Like down to your knees. It's all good.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not a beard.
ZZ
That's like Santa.
ZZ Top called.
Yeah.
Yeah, they like their beard back. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's nice. And
Nice.
got my hair not cut. Got my hair shampooed and shaved, and got the
Yeah.
undercarriage shaved up.
Oh,
But yeah,
you know what? We've learned enough about you today. Why don't we jump in to
I
the
think we
news? Because
should.
there's a lot of good stuff this week.
Well, we had some great stories. Let me pitch this first one to you.
Go for it.
Eightfold AI talent tracking brings AI native ATS to every organization. So this was on PR Newswire. Eightfold think talent intelligence. Now, what's really interesting here is that because they're talent intelligence that goes all the way through the organization, they've extended this further out into the ATS. And I'm assuming that they go further after this gets kind of implemented and integrated. They do all their bits. That it goes even further out to source it, so that they can do the talent intelligence work to then say, okay, Janet, super productive. We just promoted her 3 times, and it goes all the way back into source of hire.
Mm,
So they want to have that type of intelligence. I think it's good for their customers. Um, Eightfold's one of those companies, kind of like Paradox, where I kind of
right.
know them, but I don't know them. I feel like they market really well. They've both
Yeah.
brought in a ton of money, but this is, I think, good for them. Now, I guess the folks that were ATS partners of theirs probably don't think it is, but I think it's good for their customers.
Yeah. You're right. Eightfold is the one you see at the events
Right.
that have an 80 by 80 area, and you're not quite sure what they do.
Right.
But I definitely like this play. I like get people out of the old school ATSs. This could be pretty good. I like it. I like it. All right. So Recruitix launches the Talent Labor Index. Have you seen this yet?
I have not seen this. What is this?
Okay. So I love this. This is a new product release that tracks the price of attracting talent across all industries through
Interesting.
paid channels.
Right.
So I like this play because it's more accurate, I think. It's a more accurate signal of actual demand, right? So what are companies willing to pay? Not how many openings do they have, but how much are companies willing to pay to attract very specific talent for very specific roles. Where are they placing a higher priority? This is why I like this play. So curious to get your thoughts on this. I know you've spent some time in that space,
Yeah, yeah.
uh, but I like it. I think this is a
I
win, and I'm curious to see where companies are using
I
this.
like it for all the reasons that you're stating, and it, if anything, can give you a better idea as a hiring manager, or recruiter, or even HR as to what is the cost of recruiting. So for that particular
Yep.
position, if you can get some insight, any insight would be great, but just insight into
Right.
the budget, to like the actual budget, because I don't think
Yeah.
we know. So I love stuff like this. Anything that give you an idea, like, okay, you're gonna spend $25,000 to acquire enough candidates for you to go through to get to the
Right.
person that you want. You're gonna spend 25,000 or whatever
But
the bid
specific to
is,
that role.
specific to that role.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
Absolutely.
All right, Ryan, let me pitch this one to you. Workvivo was acquired by Zoom about a year
Yep.
ago, was named the preferred migration partner for Workplace from Meta. And this is on
Hmm.
workvivo.com's website. They have a whole thing about Workplace. I think it's a smart play. So the why for me is I think it's a smart play for Meta. This is just one of those things in life. If you're not exceptional at something, find someone who is. Good news for our friends at Workvivo,
Yeah.
because now they deal with a lot of large brands already, um, through their own, then through
Right.
Zoom, and now through Facebook. And we had Giddy, their CMO from
We did.
Workvivo, on a podcast just a couple of weeks ago, which was a great podcast, and
Yeah.
we had no idea any of this was going on.
He kept it a
Uh,
secret. We
well,
need to talk to him about that.
yeah, a little bit, a little bit. This had to have been in the works when we talked to him. I was like,
the
dude, you could drop this news on us. Like, we
the
could have
the
held it.
trust factor just
Yeah,
went down a
yeah.
little bit, Giddy.
Good for all
Yeah.
involved. Workvivo, Zoom, and
Yeah.
Meta. I think it's good for Meta to prune.
Yeah.
Good for companies like that to prune things that they're not exceptional at.
They should have done it much quicker, I think. I mean, the- you know my thoughts on this. They were a social network. Getting into this space was really stupid. I don't think they needed to be there. So I'm glad to see
If you're good,
this
like
happen.
Microsoft, if you're going to get into it. Like, go build a
Right.
bunch of stuff,
Yeah.
Teams, and well, go back to all the way to Yammer and
Yeah.
Skype and all of these, like
Mm-hmm.
LinkedIn. If you're going to
Get in.
get in.
2 feet.
Uh,
Jump.
Yep.
All right, I've got one here. So
All right.
Indeed recognizes that their business needs to be more agile. So I think this is good for Indeed. Indeed is a very complex organization. Over the years, they've grown, they've bloated a lot. For whatever reason, and I think this is good that they've realized that they need to become more agile in the marketplace. Times are evolving, organizations are evolving, they're very complex, but they solve a very simple issue. They solve a very simple problem within an organization, but it just became way too hard to buy from them. Way too hard to buy from them. People didn't know what they were buying. But I like their direction. I like where they're focusing. They've got the Indeed sourcing platform now and some of the other options that are out there for employers. I think this can be a good move for them. Curious to see where it goes. But hey, good luck to everybody there, and see what happens.
Yeah, I think this is just one of those things as you build and build and build and build and build. I mean, Indeed isn't a 3-year-old company. They've been
No,
around for a long time, and they've just been building and building and building. And you could wake up one day and be the 100-year-old house, and just kind of, hey, we need to make this. It needs to be easier. We need to be able to make
yeah,
decisions faster. So I think I'm in total agreement with you. I think it's a good thing, to recognize that and then do something
yeah.
about it. It's never easy, but at
No.
the same time, to recognize and do something, a lot of credit has to give it to them.
Yeah, it's tough to this space itself is tough.
Right.
When you're doing well and you bring on a lot of people, a lot of talent into the organization, things get a little murky.
Yep.
You know, things go out fast and furious, but they've always been good at realizing put out the good stuff, put out the product, try new things. They've
Yeah.
been really good at realizing what works and what doesn't work. They're not afraid to fail. They cut stuff off and they move forward. So I think this is another
Yep.
iteration of that.
All right, let me pitch this one to you, Ryan. Cornerstone redefines learning and talent management with launch of an AI-powered workforce agility platform, Cornerstone Galaxy. That's
Hmm.
on cornerstoneondemand.com. You can go find out all about Galaxy. And you and I have been briefed on this. So basically,
Mm-hmm.
it's workforce agility and readiness meets skilling, reskilling, and upskilling. So
Right.
think of like training 3.0, 4.0, 5.0, whatever you want to do. And it's like, again, it's we talk about upskilling like as if it just comes out of the thin air. They've actually now, because they came up through the learning business, the e-learning business and learning business, they're actually coming at this head on and saying, okay, we can talk about skilling or skills-based hiring or
Right.
skills-based promoting or whatever, but at one point, something's actually got to help that. Both what do we have, what do we need, how do we get people to a certain place? So I like it. I like the move. I think it's great stuff. You and I are going to be at Cornerstone Connect
We
Live in
are.
Orlando in June. So if
Yeah.
anybody listening is in the Orlando area or going to be at that particular show, come and hang out with us because we'll be podcasting from there. So
Yeah.
love what they've announced. It's a big announcement. It's a big move, and we'll be at their show. And so come see us.
We will be there, and it's going to be hot in Orlando. Not a
Yes,
fan of heat. So I will be on the inside while you're at the pool tanning.
100%, 100%.
All right, another one here. So this is probably one of my favorite stories this week. Uh, I'm a huge fan of Google Workspace, and everything that they offer. Uh, Early adopter of Google Gemini. So I'm excited for this. But Gemini is going enterprise. So let's face it, a lot of companies, a lot of organizations use Google Workspace as the foundation for all of their communication and for work in general. I think more than what people actually realize. What I like about this is this new release, and some of the updates that they've actually what I think people don't realize, a lot of people may not realize, is that Google is inside of HR. Google is inside of talent acquisition. This is just another push into it, and they're doing pretty well here. So users can ask Gemini. I'm sure you've probably seen
Oh yeah,
Gemini come through all your stuff, right? So users can ask Gemini to summarize emails. They can analyze attachments like resumes. They can create onboarding checklists based on the communications that you're having with candidates. So as you're in your email talking to candidates, you can prompt it to create a checklist of things to do for pre-onboarding, et cetera, whatever you're working on at the time. So anyhow, if you haven't paid close attention in meetings, in different chats or emails on a very specific topic, which I am fully guilty of, and you know this, I am very guilty of it. I can now call on Gemini to say, hey, pull everything in this thread, summarize it for me, and give me the action items that I need to do. Then
yeah,
it looks like I actually did the work and I read
yes.
and
What
paid
did what did
attention.
what did William tell me to do?
What
Yes,
did William
yes,
tell me to do?
yeah.
Which I often miss. Just gonna own up to it.
It's all right. But I think what's cool about it is we use all of the Google products, right?
We do, yeah.
So like our organizations, it's small, but our organization runs completely on Google. So Docs,
Chats,
chat.
everything.
We moved out of Slack to
Hmm.
chat because we just found it easier
Yeah,
based on being a small company, but also based on it's just the two of us. We don't need it to be over engineered. And so Gemini actually will help us because of that, because we're kind of centered on one.
yeah.
I think this is the same is true for Microsoft.
Hmm.
The folks that are a Microsoft shop, that they have everything in Outlook and they use Teams and they've got the AI products as well.
Yeah,
So I think it's good. And it's good for us specifically, but it's good for people to understand that this is
yeah,
making your life better, making it like your life easier. So
yeah.
and hopefully work easier.
I think it for certain organizations, I think people, I think it will. But you could
Yeah.
check it out. It's on the Google site. It's like /AI/HR. So it's an actual specific HR page for this. This isn't just a use case
Oh,
that
cool.
I'm dreaming up. They actually are within HR and pushing for it.
All right, Ryan, let's move to the acquisitions part of the BARF.
Let's do it.
Kelly Services to buy Motion Recruitment Partners, that's MRP, in a historic 425 million in
Ooh,
cash.
nice. It's a
So
lot of
this was on
cash.
a lot of cash, baby. That's some
Yeah.
greenbacks right there. So this was on staffingindustry.com, so you can go read all about it because they go a little bit deeper into what's important about it. But the acquisition, one of the things of note is it's the largest in Kelly's history. So that's saying something because Kelly's been around for a long time, done a lot of good work,
Mhm.
and I think now that they've bought another partner like this, I'm interested to see if they start either doing funding with technology or buying technology, like a lot of the others, a
Mhm.
lot of the other staffing and RPO players.
Right.
They kind of have different strategies of how they kind of deal with tech. But just the fact that they bought, I mean, again, in cash, 425 million in cash. That's a
Yeah.
big acquisition. So good for the folks at MRP. Congratulations for growing your company to a place where it is worth $425 million. And good for Kelly.
Yeah. What I haven't told you is
Hmm.
that I am a majority shareholder. So
Forgot
this
to
will
tell you.
be my last episode. All right. Ronstead Digital acquires Torque, which is an AI powered digital talent marketplace. This is, I'm not sure what people are going to think about this. I love it. I think this is a great opportunity, and I believe that we're going to see more of this over the coming year and years. Marketplaces are not easy to build. But when they are built properly, companies like Ronstead, Allegis, and pick any RPO that's out there, hell, even corporates, they
Right.
benefit from them, right? And so Ronstead Digital, because they focus on digital talent, this makes sense, right? They have a marketplace, and I think Torque has 25,000 or so people in this community,
Right.
which isn't just your basic talent pool, right? Throw them into a folder, and this is a real community, right? And so I think Ronstead wins here. I think obviously their clients win, but I also think their recruiters win. As this continues to grow, they have a foundation to continue to grow Torque and grow the marketplace. I think their recruiters are going to benefit immensely from this, as they have just a massive another massive pool of engaged talent to work with.
So my only question, first of all, I think it's a great acquisition, right? Just for all the reasons you've said. I it wasn't clear at any point when I was reading about it on
Hmm.
whether or not they would keep Torque open or if they're
Right.
going to close it. And
I
I would
think they keep
assume
it
that,
open.
well, see, I assume the opposite. I assume they close it so that it's just their talent.
Mm,
And it just becomes talent for their customers, which would be better for their customers. But then how do you grow that? So
yeah.
I don't know. The details to be sussed out, and we'll kind of
Yeah.
track it to kind of see what's going on. But whether or
Yeah.
not they keep it open or closed, it's still a great acquisition for their customers.
I think if they close it, it stifles it, and they don't do
Yeah,
much more than where they're at. Otherwise, they would have built this on their own. So I
right.
think it remains open, or it should remain open. Let it be public. Who cares, right? Or maybe they just have access to it, but they keep Torque open and continue to grow it and operate it and grow it that way.
All right, let me pitch another acquisition to you. Iris acquires Swipe Clock. So this is on
Mm.
irisglobal.com. So think of Iris as global payroll, and
Hmm.
then think of Swipe Clock as workforce management. And now this is a kind of a solid acquisition to bring those things together. So global payroll, workforce management is an integrated solution
Okay.
and a global integrated solution at that. So kind of a whenever you see these acquisitions where it's like, okay, they could have built it, yep, check, or they could just acquire it. They started as partners, like a lot of these things happen. They
Hmm.
started as partners. They started having a lot of customers in common. And it's just like one's going to acquire the other, and then basically make one unit out of it. And SwipeCloud has
Yeah.
two great products that are super well used. And so I think it just makes sense to integrate those things together and then now have a kind of a, well, kind of like what UKG, the thought of Kronos and Ultimate Software coming
Right.
together to form UKG. It's just better to have a solution that's fully integrated, especially for global players. So good for
Yeah.
them.
And I think there, a lesson that could be taken from this, among others, for a lot of the companies that we talk to, and they're contemplating: do I join the marketplace? Do I become a partner? What do I do at an
Mhm.
event like HR Tech? This is what you do, right? You become a partner. You get into these marketplaces. You become
Yep.
integrated through your customers. Get a whole lot of mutual customers. Do great things, and then you're rewarded with something like this. All right. Another acquisition, Shepherd is now somewhere.com. I kind of like that domain,
It is, yeah,
somewhere.com.
somewhere.
Yeah, so it's a $29.7 million acquisition, and they also take on a new CEO. I'm conflicted on this one.
Hmm.
Let me tell you why. I'm sure
Huh.
you'll have some thoughts. So first off, congrats to the team and everyone involved, right?
Right.
Acquisitions require congratulations. People get paid, they work hard. So kudos there, congratulations. So somewhere.com is focused on hiring remote overseas talent. They have centers in the Philippines, they have centers in Latam. On their site, they pitched themselves as a headhunter agency for finding top overseas talent. This
Okay.
is where I'm not sure, kind of. So I get what they do. Fantastic.
Right. Yeah.
This is where I'm conflicted. The opening line on their website, and this is probably because I'm in the US,
Right.
we find you amazing employees that cost 80% less than US equivalents.
Are they at 80% less productive or less competent or like,
I don't know.
right? Is
I'm
it,
just,
are we talking about apples for apples?
I didn't even think about that. I just read the words and I was kind of like,
Huh.
huh,
That's offensive.
yeah. Like I kind of took offense to that. I was
Eh,
okay, but you know
it-
what? Again, congrats, right? But you're right. Are they 80% less productive? What are the results? And look, other countries have fantastic talent. I
oh
guess I
yeah.
was just a little offended, but
No,
whatever.
no, no. It's an easy. First of all, it's an easy way to market kind of
Sure,
your value prop. It's like look at they cost more because they're arrogant, or they cost more because the cost of living is higher, or they
that's
cost
right.
more because they have student debt and so they have to pay people more. Like there's a lot
Right,
of factors, and this is an easy way to kind of tell the market, hey,
right.
you can get the same thing. Now that would have been probably a better way of phrasing. You
hmm
can get the same quality talent for less.
For less, right? And they're
Yeah,
targeting companies
yeah,
in North America, so
correct.
or in America. So, yep,
Now, I
whatever.
can see the somewhere.com becoming a Marx Brothers bit where someone asks the question, yeah, well, what's the URL? Somewhere.com.
Somewhere, somewhere. But don't know
No,
where
no,
it's
but
at.
no, but what's the URL? Yeah,
Yeah,
somewhere.com.
yeah.
No,
Who's on? Who's
I
on first?
understand. Yeah, exactly. It's a who's on first. So I could do a whole bit on somewhere.com as a Marx Brothers
Yeah,
bit.
but I
So
do like the domain. I'm not
I
gonna
do
lie.
like the
I like the domain.
I'm just saying how I would look at that
Uh huh.
is I would full on Marx Brothers
Nice.
somewhere. It's somewhere.com.
Somewhere.
Ryan, we have met the R in BARF. That is research for those.
Research.
So we're going to go into a couple of research. Microsoft and LinkedIn release the 2024 Work Trend Index on the state of AI at work. Who knew? Yeah, you go to news.microsoft.com, search for it, find it. So I brought one stat to you, which I found fascinating. 78% of AI users will bring their tools to work, bring their own
Hmm.
tools to work. So why don't you as a business have them or block them, God
Mm-hmm.
forbid. This concept of bring your own AI, BYOAI,
Did you make the
is
acronym up, or is that
no, I swear
actually?
to God, I wanted to. Someone had already done it though. I was going like when I read bring your own AI, I'm like, all right, what is that? BY? Oh, damn it, it's already there in brackets. Anyhow, what you and I learned, I think, this week was
Yeah.
that a lot of the Fortune 1000 They kind of go back and forth on this. They love
Hmm.
AI.
Yeah.
They provide AI tools, and then some block AI, like all of
Right.
it. Gen AI, they just block everything. And of course, that's not tenable. So there's probably this idea that they're going to bring their tools anyhow, which made me think of that whole thing with
Hmm.
the Borg of resistance is futile.
Yeah.
So I think this idea of the user, 78% is a big number, and again, that's 78% of AI users. So those are within those folks.
Mhm.
They're going to bring their tools to work. I've learned how to use whatever tool
Yeah.
.ai. I'm bringing that to work.
Yeah. Hmm.
So what do you think?
This is, you know, this is like the old sourcing conversation
Right.
for recruiters. My company pays for this.
Right.
I'm going to bring these 5 things because these Chrome extensions really
I,
kick
I
ass.
I know how to use them.
Right. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just not going to work. It'll work
Right.
for a little bit, but it's just not. There's too much security. There's too much
Yep.
concern.
Privacy.
y- Privacy. Your company's going to provide you. If they don't, they're not going to be around. So you'll need a new
Right.
job anyway, right? Let's just
There you
say
go.
what it is.
Back to
So
sourcing.
yeah, so be happy with it. You're going to get what you need. It's not in its infancy, but it kind of is in its infancy. Companies are struggling bringing tech on. They're struggling with the change, all of that good stuff.
Right.
Just go with it. Be happy. Embrace. That's my word. Embrace.
Hello.
All right, I've got a melon for you here. Upwork. Upwork says, so you got to take this report, this research with a grain of salt, right?
Right.
Upwork says Gen Z is abandoning conventional 9 to 5 corporate jobs for freelance gigs.
Mm,
Okay, it's the truth. It actually is. But
isn't
Upwork
that
is doing
isn't
this.
that in their best interest to
It's
say
in their
that?
best interest. Yes. So take it with a grain of salt.
All right.
However,
Fair.
however, okay, Gen Z. This kind of made me say, okay, well, it's their report. They sponsored it. They did it. It benefits them. But this line here, kind of, I went with it, and I believe it. Gen Z in their formative years experience 94% of all job growth coming from alternative workforce arrangements in the
Yeah.
U.S. So 94% of everything job related, job growth, more money, more anything, came from alternative opportunities, not staying in their career or in their with their employer, not going up working their way up the ladder, and working 3, 4, and 5 gig jobs to make that happen.
Hmm.
That is very telling to me. So you got to read the research. The whole report is actually pretty fascinating, but that stat or that line stuck out to me, and I think that is very, very telling, both for obviously corporate employers or enterprises to understand it's okay to treat
Yeah.
people differently moving forward. It's akin to us telling our kids, you can't have a phone,
Right.
you can't do this, or you can't do your math on a computer, or whatever it is.
Right.
That's all they know.
That's
They
yeah.
don't need to do the math on paper anymore. We
Mm-mm.
think it's good for them.
Yeah.
They think it's old and useless. And it probably is. Now, I'll debate that and say it's not. But that's how they're teaching today. Because
Yeah.
that's what today is. And this is the same thing. So I just thought that was pretty telling for me.
I like it. I like it. I'd like for it to be validated by Gartner or somebody else, Deloitte, that says the similar to the same thing. Um, when something's are in your self interest, when a vendor puts something together
Hmm.
that's in their self interest, it makes me think, okay, yeah, well, of course you're going to say that, and of course the audience is going to say that because you want them to say that. But I'll look at the report. I haven't read that one, so
Right.
I'll look at that report this week. All right, Ryan, let me give you one. Here's research Zeti's HR interactions report, which I have
Hmm.
not seen before. Nearly 1,000 American respondents were surveyed to investigate what triggers employees to seek HR's assistance. discover areas where HR's advice is most valuable, and assess the resulting experience. That's at zeddy.com, and you can go find the HR interactions report and all the data and all that stuff. So, a couple things: 62% respondents would disclose being a victim of sexual harassment. First of all, there's a happy and sad to that, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's a good number in terms of 62.
40
But
something won't.
that's right. That's the part. That's the darkness, right? So it's like 38% won't or would not. 42% wouldn't report witnessing the
Yeah.
sexual harassment of a colleague. That's soul crushing, and 43% would report witnessing discrimination. Again, soul crushing. So those two numbers in and of themselves, those should be in the 80s, 90s. You're always going to have some
Yeah.
that won't,
Sure.
but those numbers should be high. But it's a cool study because it's basically looking at how employees view HR.
Yeah.
When they want to go and talk to HR about something. And so I'd like for the study to be bigger, of course,
Mm-hmm.
so I could understand kind of enterprise versus SMB or international versus domestic. But cool
Yeah.
stats. Go look. Like I said, it's at zety.com.
These reports are interesting when we talk about employees hesitant to go to HR.
I know.
It's really interesting because it's and so I hesitate and I smile at the
No,
same
no.
time
Dude,
because
there's one stat in there that I can remember. 18%
yeah.
of the employees would go to HR for mentorship, to find mentorship.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like that's a low,
That's very low. Yeah, well,
really low number.
I forget who we were talking to. It was just recently. I was on a rampage with HR that week, and I asked like I've always, and I'll use myself as an example. I've always viewed HR as bad.
Yep.
It's just been bad.
Yeah.
Not bad people.
No,
Not
no,
that
no.
they're bad.
Good
You
people.
only went to
Nothing good.
HR.
Nothing good happens at HR.
Not right. If you go into that
Sorry.
office, and so sidetrack, but it's an office. J.C. Penney. You go into J.C. Penney in the mall by me, which
Yep.
is just completely fucking empty, by the way. But
I
you go
know.
into J.C. Penney, and then you go down the corridor to go into the bathroom. There's an office, and it's the HR personnel. It says, I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna take a picture of it. It says HR dash personnel office.
Yeah.
If you're going to that office in
Not a
the
good thing.
far end of the building, in the basement, that's a bad thing. Like that's how
Yes.
I felt. And so I think a lot of people still view HR that way, which is completely wrong.
Right.
Completely wrong. So I know people are, why are you? It's wrong. I get it. HR does so much more. I know a lot of people. Obviously, we know a lot of people in HR. Anyhow, yeah, those numbers are troublesome. Yeah,
Yeah. Go take a
kind of
look at the
bothers me.
report.
All right, so our
What do you got?
friends at Lighthouse. Lighthouse, Ben Eubanks over there does fantastic research. 2024 talent acquisition
Hmm.
trends. So what's new? What's next? Fantastic report. You got to go read it. I'll give you the three or four lines that I kind of my overview on my mind that I'm thinking. So hiring is harder today than it's ever been. The process is different, tech is different, people are different, things just aren't predictable. Although an argument could be made that things are predictable or getting better at being predictable. The people, and this is kind of where I drew it back from reading through the report, the people, the hiring managers doing the hiring today are often of an older age. They are looking for a different motivation and a different work ethic for the
Oh,
new
interesting.
hires that they're bringing on, right? For
Right.
all the talent that's readily available in the market. That's what I took from this. So it's really a good report. It covers
Which is bias, right? I
which
mean, that's
well,
a
it is, sure. Yeah, yeah. And
okay.
but it's I can see it how it could be difficult. Like
Oh yeah,
you've worked this
yeah.
way for 40 years and now you've got somebody coming in that has a different, kind of the what
Right,
is it? The Upwork report, right? Like
right.
it's if 94% of the Gen Z market only saw job growth through alternative working opportunities, the motivations are different. Who you're hiring is going to be different. And that clashes with the people in the current role of hiring. So the report covers a bunch of stuff: AI usage, goes through measurement, the impact of AI. Something that I tend to gravitate towards: the value in relationships, which I really love that part. So go ahead and check it out. That's over at Lighthouse Research.
Yeah, I concur. Great research, but also great research analyst firm.
Yeah.
So I'll take a look at it myself. Good job. All right, Ryan, let me give you one from research. New SHRM research highlights urgent need for workplace civility,
Hmm.
with U.S. workers facing millions of acts of incivility per day, drawn from a SHRM's civility index. So they have a civility index. You go to sherm.org and find out all about that. But this is the thing that I wanted to bring to your attention. U.S. workers will experience or witness, so it's two things, experience or witness, over 24 billion acts or instances of incivility at work in total for 2020-24.
Huh.
24
24 billion.
billion with a B acts or instances of incivility at work in total for 2024.
Did it say
So
what they were? Like an example?
it did not. It did.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm sure it does as you dig into it. I'm sure
That's
it
a
does
lot.
because it gives you the methodology. So I'm sure it does. Gives you
Mm-hmm.
examples. I need to understand, just because of my personality, I need to understand the guardrails and
Yeah.
definitions of civility and incivility.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's a personal thing that I need to kind of take on, kind of like that bring your own AI to work thing. I need to
Uh-huh.
actually think about this and go, okay, what is civility? What is incivility, and who defines what, and who makes those definitions? But 24 billion, no matter what,
It's a lot.
20,
It kind of
24, 24 billion is a big number. I don't care how you got
just
there.
it justifies people's feelings on why HR is mean because they're dealing with stupid shit.
Again, yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
And it could be microaggressions. It could be people cursing. It could be people having bad breath. Like, I don't know what the guardrails are, but
Yeah.
whatever the guardrails are,
It's too
that's a
much.
big damn number.
I think they need to hone those guardrails in.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because now,
Uh,
of course, I brought it right to me because I'm a psychopath. I'm trying to think of
no,
like,
no, you're not.
where have the acts of civility or incivility, what have I perpetrated on people?
3 months
So
ago I had hair on my head.
it's all the
That's
incivility. I
that's
just
that's
dole it out, man. Just making it rain with
nice,
incivility.
nice,
Anyway,
nice. Coca. All right, I've got one more.
all right.
This is I had to go back to Big Blue. I've got one more study here. This is an IBM study. 6 hard truths CEOs must face. I thought you'd find this interesting.
Uh-huh.
So we've had a number of conversations over the past couple of weeks specific to culture, AI, but more importantly, how to drive adoption and the change that has to occur when all of this is happening. The study's pretty wild. They interviewed more than 3,000 CEOs, and that was from December of 23 just through this April of 24. So 3,000 CEOs globally. So you have to read it to really go into the 6 things, but I'll read them off for us real quick to see if it sparks any thoughts in your head. So your team isn't as strong as you think, and each one of these have a full research underneath.
Right.
So your team isn't as strong as you think. The customer isn't always right. Sentimentality is a weakness when expertise is in short supply. Sparring partners make the best leaders. People hate progress, and tech shortcuts are a dead end. So that's the shiny new tool syndrome. All 6 of these, they resonate with me.
I like all of them. I
Yeah.
like all of the last one's a little self-serving. because of
Mm-hmm.
IBM being a consulting company and being, helping people with tech too.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that, but other than that, I think these are all good. Um, and, I think these CEOs already have these already on their radar,
Absolutely.
right? It's just how do you fix that? So take number one, your team isn't as strong as you think.
Yeah.
Okay, well, now what do you do? Like, how
Yeah.
do you action that? Okay.
Well, there were so the number behind, I might be off because I don't have this in front of me. 43% or something like that said that they were might have been a little bit lower. They were going to hire more people because of AI to run and manage the tech.
Ha,
Yeah, and get rid of those that are no longer needed. So the tech will replace functions of the job, and it was like 35%, I think. They found of those people that they would potentially have to let go, they need
right.
upskilling. So they're not necessarily going to let them go. They're going to work on upskilling them, but that's 35% of the workforce in the organ. That's a lot of people
That's a lot. That's a
in
big
the
number.
organization, right? So they're investing a lot in that sector while bringing in the new people who already have the skills to run and prompt and do all that other stuff that's needed as they continue to, down on number 6 there, bring tech in.
Right.
Yeah, it's a really interesting report. I think you'll enjoy
Yeah.
it. All right, we are moving on to funding, and you got a lot of funding as you always do.
Uh-huh.
So
Well,
I'll
this was
let
a
you
big
run
week.
through. It
So it's
was a
not
big
just
week.
that I could find them under rocks and stuff like that. It's just there was a lot of money spent this week.
Yeah,
So anthropos, it's a Greek word for human, in case you're curious, raised
I wasn't.
2.7 to help what now?
I said I wasn't.
Okay, well, but
I'm
now you are.
sorry. I
But now
am
you
now.
are.
See,
I'm super curious.
I get more educated by listening to you.
Oh, that's scary.
My
All right, so
education is good.
so 2.7 to help companies build the workforce of the future using AI. So this is on finance.yahoo.com. Go and read more about them and why the raise is. But basically, the platform allows employees to upskill themselves via AI while helping companies map out and verify critical employee skills.
Hmm.
So I really like this kind of approach, and upskilling. It kind of pushes upskilling into this is also up to you. So now you
Mhm.
know what you need to learn, and at the same time, here's where you're at. So I like all of it. I think it's great, great name, and good for them for getting 2 point in a very
Yeah,
difficult fundraising market. Good for them to get almost $3 million in funding.
yeah. Well, and they're in a good space. 35% of that workforce.
All right, Ryan, let me give you another one. Artisan AI, which I believe they just shortened to Artisan, by the way,
Hmm.
closes 7.3 million seed round
Mm.
to build AI employees for the enterprise. So, first of all, a 7.3
Big
seed
seed
round.
round. That's like an
Eh,
8 round. That's good.
yeah, that's a big seed right there.
Yeah.
So imagine if that's their seed, their A round's going to be in the 20 millions, right? So
Right.
that's kind of how that plays out. The larger the seed, like they're not going to have an A round at 4 million. It just won't make sense.
Hmm.
But yeah. So what's fascinating is I found this on bmmagazine.co.uk. But if you put in artisan AI and funding, you can find a bunch of different places. That's just where
Hmm.
I found it. So artisan is replacing. So I think you'll like this bit. Artisan is replacing and automating the entire go-to-market sales stack, starting with sales.
Right.
So Artisan AI launched their AI BDR, Ava, in February 2023. She automates 80% of a BDR's role.
Yeah.
My take on that, first of all, just reading that, I can see some people reading that or hearing that and going, wait a minute, I'm a BDR. Holy no. Okay, got it. But what my take is that this is actually going to make BDRs more productive because it's going to automate all that crap
Yeah.
that they have to do, just like what we see in recruiting, just what we see in sourcing. It's just going to take all that stuff. Ava, thank God, Ava's going to take all that crap
Right.
And then they can then focus on the stuff, the human, they can
Hmm.
focus on the stuff that's going to make them more productive. So,
Yeah.
anyhow, what's your take
I,
on Artisan?
I love this. I love the idea of digital employees. I do. I don't know why. It's just always struck me as fascinating that we can do this, and now it's here. What I like about this particular what I like about the article, at least, that I read on it, the interview that I read on it, their CEO made a comment that I thought was interesting. He said, "Our competitors are building solutions that sit on top of existing stacks. That's not the right way to go. They're building the new stack." And I think that's why their seed round was bigger. I think they really have a good thing going here, and they have a different vision of what it is
Right.
that is unique to some of the others that are out there. This isn't an add-on. This is the layer that you're going to need in their eyes to move forward in the workplace.
Also, genius is they're starting with something revenue facing. So
Right.
if you're gonna make this, okay, yeah, you could do something efficiency and make ops or something, even HR or recruiting. You
Hmm.
could make something that's more of a cost center, more efficient, which is great because it'll be more cost effective. So it
Yep.
hits the bottom line, just hits it in a
Hmm.
different way. These folks, Ava, I like to call her Ava because I actually like the name Ava. Ava's revenue
The
facing.
fact that you're addressing the AI by name and you're comfortable with it means
I'm
this is a
totally.
good
Hey,
idea. People are
if we would have
comfortable
had a
with it.
baby girl, her name would have been Ava. I love the name. I'm
Hmm.
down. I love Ava. So,
Oh, go have another one.
but but plans closed. So I like that they're focused on revenue. So they go to market and
Absolutely.
BDRs and all that stuff. Like, so how can we get more for less and have the technology do it in a way that you're talking about building the own
Right.
stack, but have this actually bring more revenue to the firm? Genius. Just genius level genius. All right, I got another one for you. Vita, that's capital VEDA. I'm sure it sounds for something. Raises 17 million in euros. Payroll as a service. So this was at tech.eu. And so it's a German-based
Hmm.
company that'll basically, they got it right. This is how you kind of tell that this thing. First of all, 17 million is a big number. Uh, it's a German company, payroll as a service company, but the funding will be used to expand into the rest of Europe and the UK. Now, what's interesting about this particular fundraise is they were recently acquired by InvestCorp. And InvestCorp, as you look that up, is a 40-year-old investment firm, PE primarily, which in the PE side of things, they've deployed over $6 billion. So, you look at it, you say, oh, they raised $17 million. Okay, yeah. Yeah, well, wait, there's more. There's
Who
$17
was the
million.
money?
And oh, by the way, they got it right in Germany, which is one of the hardest places to get things right from an HR perspective, especially something like payroll.
Hmm.
Now they're going to expand it to all of Europe, and they've got the backing. So the 17 million is like a rounding error for InvestCorp. InvestCorp, they've got more money, so they can now go into
Right.
Switzerland, they go to Benelux, they go into any of the other places that they want to because they've already kind of got it right in Germany. France would probably be difficult. That'd probably be one that they'll be last on, or at least as they listed them off, it'll be one of the last ones they kind of tackle. But they listed Switzerland, they listed a lot of companies by name, the UK. So like $17 million isn't always just $17 million. That's why sometimes it's good
Right.
to look at the story behind the story. This isn't a company that just has $17 million. At any given point, they need more money.
The
More money
money's
is not
there.
going to be a problem. Money, that's not going to be a problem. All right, Ryan, I got another one. Mexico City-based Worky,
Worky.
Work, WRKY, a provider of HR and payroll services solutions for Mexican companies. So Mexico City-based for Mexican companies.
We're on
Shocking,
the
not shocking.
payroll train today.
I know, right? Has closed $6 million as a Series A. Not bad. Good Series A for them. But what I love is Mexico built something for Mexican companies. I love seeing this type of stuff. So anyhow, I found this on techtaffy.com. So you can go and look at Worky and see more of the press release, etc. Now, in the press release, some of the things you see. The funding was led by a Brazilian fund, Atlantico, in participation with ADP Ventures. And when I read that, I'm like, we need to track ADP Ventures more close. You and
Yeah.
I need to actually find out what they're doing. But I do like country-specific payroll companies. I like, so if we were in Chile, I like a Chilean payroll company
Feels like
that
it
built
would run more smoothly.
it. It just seems like they know more about that particular area. Now, I could be off by that, but that's kind of what I would think. But I thought it was interesting that it was funded by companies outside of Mexico.
Right.
There's plenty of money in Mexico.
Mhm.
So, like, it's really interesting that these outside funds actually made this happen. But anyhow, go ahead and take a look at Worky. And their $6 million Series A. Good luck to them, and congratulations. Aprio.
Say it again.
Prior A.
Prior.
Prior?
Just spell it for everybody.
I think
APRIORA raises
2.8 million to build the future of AI, future of interviewing. All right, so we're going to try that again. We're going to do this in English. And I'm not going to say their name because I don't know the pronunciation. APRIORA. So prior is in the middle of two A's. How you like that?
a prior A.
Yeah. So prior, just think prior, and throw an A on each side. Done. You got it. Build the future of AI interviewing. So what's really interesting, this is on their website. So you can go to the prior with A's on both sides, .ai. And then you can read more about it. So the thing is the value prop is this: hire the best candidates faster. And then you start scrolling through the site, and it's already integrated into workflows and other tech, so you don't have to change. And everything happens really, because it's AI. It looks like everything happens really fast. And in particular, I could see candidates really liking this approach, or they don't have to interact with people and do this bit. Like, they can just do it on their phone, and AI is driving all that stuff, so the speed's really fast, and they're being followed up with. So I can see this being successful.
You know, I'm not sure that I disagree with this. You know, I'm bought into AI running some, if not all, of this process. After seeing tools like Higher Logic and some of the others that are out there, this is where I get a lot of hate. I just don't know a recruiter that can turn notes out or recommendations out as well as AI. Why are we fighting this? Why aren't we just embracing the technology and admitting, now you're not even admitting you're not as good. It's just not necessary.
Right.
Oh, fuck it. You're not as good. Like, honestly, like, you're not. Like, if you,
It's like,
I would love to do this. I would love to take candidate interview notes from a recruiter over the last, go get your Google Docs, take that over the last 12 months, throw that into an AI, run some comparisons. I'm going to guess the majority of it says the same thing. This candidate's fantastic because
yeah,
yeah, it's going to be the same thing. Leverage the technology, embrace it, love it. It's going to make you better at what you do. You're going to close more.
It's like having a fist fight with a calculator. Like, stop. Calculator's okay.
Yeah, I can care less about cosine and all that other crap. Honestly, just fuck it. Tell me what buttons to hit. Coca.
All right, Ryan, let me give you another one. Sona, a frontline workforce management platform, raised $27.5 million with eyes on U.S. expansion. So this is TechCrunch. So you go to TechCrunch.com, type in Sona, S-O-N-A,
With
and
an
you can read a little.
S and an A on the end.
That's right. It's an on. It's on with an S and an A.
I'm gonna look at every word today for this.
You didn't see Pryor?
It's mom. It's O with an M on either side.
That's right. Oh, it's your O face. Oh, oh, oh.
Go ahead. I'm
Anyhow,
sorry.
TechCrunch.com. Go take a look at that Sona. So 2/3, some of the things that are really interesting in the article, 2/3 of the U.S. workforce are in frontline jobs.
Mhm.
So Sona's London-based. So it would be really interesting to see, how they cross the pond.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's really easy. Sometimes there's a lot of learning involved. I remember SHL came to the U.S. like 5 different times. That's an overstatement, of
Mhm.
course, but it wasn't as easy coming across the pond. And that's true of us Americans going to
Mhm.
Australia or Americans going anywhere. Um, Frontline tech has kind of been this, the redheaded stepchild of work tech or HR tech for a
Mhm.
long time. A lot of enterprise focus, and a lot of the people that work in high volume or hourly or frontline haven't had great tools.
Right.
So I'm pulling for them in particular, Sona, but I'm also pulling for the way that their money is getting spent in that part of the
Right.
technology market. So, what do you think
Yeah.
about Sona? On
You know,
with an S and an A.
the all. I love this space. I absolutely love it, and I've grown to love it more over the last probably year and a half. I actually want to study it now. So labor mismanagement is probably the single biggest cost to a
Yep.
multi-location company, right? So I'm thinking the Gap or Old Navy or McDonald's or Subway, any of these companies. Um, so but it's also one of the most controllable if you have the proper tech process, so on and so forth. Uh, so think shift scheduling, location management, forecasting, all of this stuff affects the company, the people, the culture. People love you, they hate you, your customers, everything. It affects it all. And you're right, it's been underserved. But there's also a lot of inner workings there that's that's a challenge for talent acquisition, right? Just pure sheer volume and all the stories we hear, the no shows or people not taking their role seriously. They're just in
Right.
and out, they job hop. If I were to go into back into talent acquisition, if I were to go back into HR as a practitioner, I would probably choose a company that is similar or in this situation that has multi-location because I just think it's a
Right.
challenge that is it's just exciting for me for some stupid reason. Anyhow, I love it.
So
I
you're
think
a
it's a win.
buyer. You're a buyer of
Yeah,
on with S and an A.
yeah, I'm a buyer of the story, and if I ever get a job in a multi-location company, I'll bring them in for a demo.
Don't get a job. Don't ever get a job. Don't ever change. Right.
Never
So
change.
last. Oh wait a minute. Hold on. Caleb.
Oh God, melons.
Ryan, this is the last funding we have for this particular
Yeah.
week. Sesame, so same with an SE on the front of it, it closes new investment round of 23 million euros to continue its investment in AI and accelerate international expansion.
I
So
thought
that's
you
at
meant Sesame Street. So
see, it's close.
you've had
It's
my attention at Sesame.
same with SE on the front, but this is actually you can go look it up on sesamehr.com, and they've got the whole thing. Now they're Valencia base, excuse me, which is Spain for those that need to know that. It's an all-in-one HR department solution. It'll expand to LATAM in a big way. Now, of course, I wonder if they're bringing the conquistadors with them. Oh,
Hmm.
just kidding. Too soon? A little too soon probably for that. Anyhow, I do like, again, Spanish software company
Hmm.
basically build something that works in Spain. Check. Got it. Now they're going to go to other Spanish speaking places
Right.
and roll out, and they'll personalize as they need to in those different countries. And
Yeah.
but that's what this round is for: is
Hmm.
some innovation, some product stuff. But really, it's about going and localizing the solution to the different countries in Central and South America.
Right. I think that's it.
I think that's it too.
We're done.
Barfed. We did it. We did it.
We did.
Yay.
Thank you all for listening and watching and listening. If you're still watching or listening, subscribe and like us anywhere, everywhere. Sorry, it's one of these days. We do have
Softwares.
some travel coming up. We are going to be where are we going to be? We're going to be at Cornerstone in Orlando.
That's correct. In June.
Yeah.
June 9th, 10th, 11th, somewhere in there.
Yeah. So if you are in Orlando, please let us know. Send us a message. Let's connect and we'll do some fun things.
100%.
Until next
Have a
time.
good week.